Hello there and welcome back to Upper Carrom. I did promise that I might show how I did my lights in a previous episode. So as you can see, the layout is almost entirely lit and power comes in from down here on a USB socket, leads directly into the layout, and then heads over to the Aldi, and underneath Aldi there is a cheap Chinese distribution hub. These cost about £5 or £6 and allows me to distribute all of the lights across the layout. So an example of one of the buildings would be this one here. So you can see we've got, this is the council offices. So we've got the street lights, which are 3 volt, and then we've got one light inside the building. The one next to it actually, that's got 3 interior lights because of the strange arrangement of the building. So if I pull this one up, these are just magnetically attached magnets drilled into the baseboard. But you can see underneath there we've got an incoming 5 volt feed, which goes into a, I believe it's a 2.5mm JST socket, which then can be simply unplugged like so and plugged back in. That 5 volt leads onto a circuit board. So rather than put the resistors for the 3 volt, because you've got to knock down the voltage from 5 volts to 3 volts, and that requires, I believe it's a 100k resistor. Rather than do that on each wire individually, I've just grouped them into a simple circuit where I feed off the 3 volts, go through resistors, then connect the LED. So they've got a common positive rail that is at the bottom of that circuit board there, the red wires. Each resistor connects to that rail, then the resistors go up, and then the 3 volt LED light wires, the red terminal for the wire connects to the bottom of the resistor, so that's the 4th row up, and then the negative feeds directly onto the negative rail, which is at the very top. 5 volt wires, the slightly thicker ones, those ones you can just solder directly to each side of the rail. This way it keeps all of the delicate connections on the board rather than on each individual wire, because some of these wires are very, very tiny. I mean, if you look at the thickness of these 3 volt street lights, they're absolutely tiny. So one, you have difficulty soldering those wires to resistors, and 2, the wire has a tendency to want to snap on you. So that means you can basically keep all of the circuit from the JST connector onwards with the building. You can unplug that building, take that to the workbench and work on that. Over here I've got Curry Motors, which is quite a large footprint building, and similar thing underneath. I've actually got 2 connections. One is the JST connector feeding the building, and then the second connector, which you can hardly see, is actually a mobile phone style magnetic connector. I don't know if I can get in there. No, a bit difficult. But I can unplug it. So you can see there, it's a magnetic connector, and literally all you have to do is bring it somewhat close and click. It snaps onto the baseboard, onto the circuit board, sorry. And then if we put that building down, that's actually controlling the LEDs on this building over here. So we've got a street light, we've got 2 lights inside the building, and then we've got a crazy flashing RGB LED in the greenhouse. So yeah, the possibilities are pretty endless. And the reason that I chose this particular method was because my layout is completely self-contained on a sheet of MDF, so I didn't want any of the wiring connections to go through the bottom of the MDF baseboard. The reason being is that this sits on top of a Carrom table, so if I want to play Carrom, I have to lift the layout off of the table. So yeah, it's not actually a permanently fixed board. So this, the same can be said as well for removable sections such as this one over here. So at the moment there are no street lights on this, but I'm going to use that same magnetic connector system over here sorry, on the viaduct or the railway arches. The lights inside the shops are actually fixed to the underside of the rail overpass. This building here is permanently wired in. That comes in off the same circuit for the railway station, which also feeds the overhead platform lights. And then we've even got buffer lights which are on their own circuit, and we can even do low relief buildings as well. So yeah, just a little video. This marks 1 year since I began this project. I think the first video I uploaded was on the 24th of October 2024. So happy birthday, Carrom, and thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, if you want to ask me any questions, or if you find anything useful, please let me know. And thank you for watching. See you later.